Good afternoon, and thank you for taking the time to speak with me today, Miss Orca. My name is MAISARAH, and you can call me AQILAH. To start, can you please introduce yourself and talk a bit about your background and your current role?
Sure. My name is Anna. I am originally from Germany, but I have been living in Southeast Asia for 10 years now. So I've been living in Thailand and in Bali for a short while, and in the Maldives, and now for 5 years, 6 years, no, 5 years in Malaysia.
I
So yeah, I've been living in Kota Kinabalu in Sabah.
Oh,
Yeah,
and right now
and
you're in Rawa.
yes, and now I'm in Rava. Yes.
Okay, so um, for our interview today, the focus of our discussion is on intercultural communication conflicts in the workplace. As our workplaces become increasingly diverse, understanding how to navigate and resolve conflicts that arise from cultural differences is more important than ever. Our goal is to gain insights into the types of intercultural communication conflicts that commonly occur, their impact on team dynamics and productivity, and effective strategies for addressing and mitigating these issues. Your experiences and perspectives will be invaluable in helping us understand this complex and important topic. So, Miss Arkan, do you ever have any conflict between your coworkers regarding the intercultural communications conflicts in your workspace?
Um, well, I mean, sometimes you can have some problems because there's a lack of cultural understanding from both ways. Because from my culture, we are really direct. So when there's something not right, or if we see something that can be improved, we go to you and we say, "Hey, Akila, I've seen, maybe there's like a problem, or maybe something didn't go that well. Can we talk about this?" And then we find a solution together. But in Malaysia, you do that differently. It's not that you would go directly into a person to say like this. So
Yeah.
sometimes it can cause a conflict when you work with different cultures, and maybe the communication approach is too. And so then you, especially when you deal with Malaysian or maybe Malaysian men, then maybe they feel a little bit offended when you speak too direct. So I found that you always need to find like a middle way and approach it differently. And yeah, so that is something I've encountered and I've noticed with some of my colleagues. I'm used to the culture already, and I'm married to a Malaysian,
Oh,
so I know how. Yeah, but sometimes when people come new to the country, I can see them having struggles with that, especially from like Germany or the Netherlands or
yeah.
even from
Yeah, Malaysians
USA.
tend to speak not directly.
Yes. So
So,
it's a bit different. So the communication style is really different, and the way you approach maybe problems in the workplace is really different. So I think that can cause problems sometimes when you're not aware of the other person's culture.
so when there is disagreement among coworkers, do you approach them now in Malaysia? Do you approach them directly or you speak tactfully? Rather speak tactfully.
Normally, I try to approach it a bit differently now. So it's more a bit indirect, or you wouldn't say, "Oh, I've you did this or that," but it's
Mhm.
more that you talk more general, so that problems can happen, and then they would say, "Oh, yeah, 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 that can really happen. That's true." You don't say directly that you saw them maybe doing something or that a problem was caused. So it's a more indirect approach, I would say, in the communication style. And yeah, you use different language. And for me, sometimes I also use like a joke to make it a bit more less serious in the beginning to start the conversation. Speak in Bahasa, maybe, so then it's a bit easier to find an understanding.
I see. So, like, as we know, humor in the workplace plays a significant role in initiating conversation and building a harmonious environment among colleagues. So, are there any types of humor or jokes from other cultures that you find particularly amusing or interesting? What is it and why?
For me personally,
Hmm?
for me, the other, okay. I usually like jokes from maybe from UK because it's really like a bit dark humor, quite
Mm,
dry humor. So and it's a bit sarcastic. So
uh,
that is I like this kind of humor.
I
And that is sometimes different as well in Asia.
Yeah,
People don't use sarcasm so much. So
yeah,
it's sometimes also people will say, "Oh, really?" Like, no, no, it's just a joke. It's different. So it's something you need to be aware of. Yeah,
yeah.
but I like this kind of humor, like a bit dark.
Actually, me too.
Ah, good. You like to watch English comedy?
Yeah, there are stand-up comedy shows.
Ah,
Hmm. So moving on to the third
oh,
question.
nice. Yeah.
So personal
Mm-hmm.
space refers
Ah, that's good.
personal space refers to the physical or mental distance individuals prefer to maintain between themselves and others, influenced by their personal comfort and cultural norms. Have you ever experienced discomfort due to colleagues' different sense of personal space?
Um, yes, in the workplace at KL at the airport, and
Mhm.
I was in the queue for immigration. And one man from the back, he came really close to me, and closer and closer and closer. And I felt that he's invading my personal space.
Hmm.
Can you still hear me? Actually, is it still okay?
Um,
Hello.
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
Maybe it's internet so slow.
It's I think it's
I
fine.
can't hear you anymore. Ah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Ah, now it's back. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I was at the airport in the queue, and this man kept coming closer to me, and he was, I think, Chinese because I could see he had a passport, Chinese passport. And in my culture, you keep a distance. You keep
Mm.
at least, I would say, half a meter distance. But he came really close to me, so I could feel him breathing on my skin, in my neck,
Oh,
and it was
that's
really
awful.
uncomfortable for me. So I kept putting that was too close. So and then I had like a trolley to
Mm.
pull my luggage. So I put it behind me, so he cannot come so close. But he walked around. Then at some point I said, "Oh, so sorry, sir, but could you keep some space?" And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, 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 yeah." But you could see he didn't think about that. So that's one example I can think about.
So the way you handle it is like you talk to the person. So
Hmm. Yeah, normally I try to use non-verbal cues first, of like maybe moving a little bit or moving to the side,
ah,
or when I put my luggage behind. So and when the non-verbal cues don't work,
mhm.
then I said something.
Nice.
But yeah, normally most people would react, right? If
Mm.
especially since COVID, so it's a bit different.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I number four, eye contact is also a
Hmm.
crucial thing in workplace communication as it helps to facilitate clear information and establish trust when interacting with among colleagues. So does the significance of maintaining
Hmm.
eye contact at work differ in any way from your own culture, which is Germany?
Hmm. In Germany, it's polite to look at the person you talk to, especially when it's like someone superior. you would look them in the eyes. Because in my culture, we believe when you look at someone and you look them straight in the eye, when you're talking, that you are sincere and honest and that you are confident. So this is like a sign of strength. And when I was working in Thailand, for example, in the workplace there, it's not polite to do that. So when you speak to someone superior, you should look down a little bit and speak a little bit down. So for me, that was first a bit different to learn, because to show respect, I'm really tall. You can't see right now, but I'm really tall. So in Thailand, it's you have to make yourself small. So when I had to learn, when I talked to someone who is superior, a little bit like on the floor to show respect for me. But I think in Malaysia, it's okay. I mean, it's more eye contact, and people also look at you when you have a conversation, and it's just when they're a little bit shy that maybe they look away. But I think overall in Malaysia, yeah, it's more eye contact. Not as much maybe as in the Western country, but compared to Thailand, it's much more.
I see. So, do you mind of sharing any difficulties that you have encountered in dealing with your daily tasks and interactions with colleagues due to language differences?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's more about that when you say something and they misunderstand, that it can cause like a conflict. And then you can, no, it's not, you don't mean it like this. And then you explain, because maybe there's a word that is too strong, or I can't think about a certain example right now, but sometimes it's, especially when I have a colleague whose English is not that good. So when I see him, I will explain something in English, and I see that because of the explanation. Then I try to use the word in Bahasa, so then it's easier to understand for him. And then you can see it's a bit more relaxed and feel more comfortable. And I think in general depends on the people you deal with, but when you can speak in their language, like in Bahasa here, it helps a lot to get a better communication with the person as well. So it's a bit of a different level. So they feel more connected or more understood, actually.
So, you know a little bit of Bahasa Melayu?
Yeah,
That's cool.
but with the Sabahan,
Ah,
yeah.
okay. So, moving on to our last question. In the workplace, conflicts with other parties can be challenging to resolve. Based on your perspective as an employee, have you taken any steps in resolving the conflict so far? If so, could you please explain the specific actions you took and the responses you received from the other parties involved?
Um, I haven't. I don't have really a conflict before, not like a massive conflict with other coworkers, but it's more my old workplace in Sabah. There were some foreigners working there, and then a lot of Malay people. And because my boyfriend, or no, my husband, he is from Malaysia, right? So I have a bit of a better understanding. So what happened a lot is that the Malay people would come to me and they say, "Oh, why are they like this? Why are the Orang Putih doing like this? Why are they acting like this? Why they are using harsh language, or why they're so direct?" So there was more like a cultural misunderstanding from both sides. And so they would more come to me and ask me to explain why Western people have a different approach in communication, or why they say certain things. So, and then I try to help to explain, because for me, I can see both sides, because I know obviously and you say things, you have no filter basically, but people are not offended by that because you understand. But here, if you say it too direct, people can get offended or they can get hurt. So I was trying more to explain the different point of view to them. So I said, oh, they don't mean it personal. It has nothing to do with you. It's more maybe they want to help you, but the way they say it, you think they want to criticize you, but actually they want to help. But it's a different way of communicating. And I said, oh, okay, yeah. I never thought about it like that. I just see they say something to criticize me, and then I feel, why you say that to me? But now I'm seeing the difference. So I had that a lot. And then I'm just trying. Oh no, actually I had it one time as well. I got a bit angry sometime with one colleague here, and then I said really something direct to him, and he was really offended. So later I said to him, I'm really sorry. I was too emotional. I didn't mean like that. So I just want to explain to him what my intention was. And then usually it's okay. But I feel it's a lot that you have to explain more about the different culture and how you communicate, that it's just different. And then you find a better understanding for both.
I see. So, um, is there a time where you have a conflict with others and you need a third party to solve the problem, like to be the interpreter?
Mm, I mean, last season we here on the island we had one girl. She was also German, and she was never really in Asia. So she was on holidays before, but she doesn't know the culture so much. And she was sometimes a bit grumpy, really direct, and she would say, "Oh, I don't understand why you," not to me, but to the manager, Malaysian manager. Hey, why you do like that? And I don't understand. Doesn't make sense to me. And she doesn't mean it in a bad way, but he got really offended by it. So he's like, oh, why, I'm her boss, why is she talking to me like that? Oh, and so then I try to explain that in German culture it's normal, you can talk to your boss and challenge the boss a little bit. And but she was really lacking, so she went a bit too far because she was not understanding the culture and how it works here, and that you respect your boss and you're not openly talking to your boss like that or someone superior. But I try to make her understand how it works, and if you have a problem that you should go slowly and maybe say, hey, I have a suggestion and maybe we can try it like this, but be more careful with the words you say. And then, but on the other hand, I try to explain to the manager the culture, how it is, that German people are really direct. And it's nothing, as again, it's nothing personal. We're just really direct because in Germany, you want to get things solved quickly. So you use the direct way to solve a problem. So you're not going around a lot. You just say, all right, this is the problem. Why don't we do like this? And then you offer a solution. And then people are like, okay, let's do that. So it's sometimes maybe think people from outside, oh, you have an argument, but actually they just have a discussion, and it's really different communication. So you need a lot of understanding for the culture to make it work.
So you're okay with the culture in Malaysia right now, or you're still very?
Say again.
Are you?
Sorry, say again.
You're okay with the culture in Malaysia right now, or you're still sometimes are not okay with the culture?
Oh, sorry, the video just stopped. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
So, like you said, are you right now like okay with the culture in Malaysia, or you still have the difficulties in here?
I think I'm okay with it. So compared to compared to Thailand, Malaysia is much more direct already and more open. So I remember when I first moved to Malaysia, and so that you can call someone like a waiter in a restaurant and tell them that maybe, I don't know, if something is wrong with the food, to call the waiter and say, hey, sorry, but there's like a hair in the food or a bug or whatever. To do that here in Thailand, you can never do that. In Thailand, you would just be like, oh, you would leave the food, and then they later say, oh, everything okay, and you say, oh, yeah, it's okay. So you just ignore the problem. Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I think that is all
Yeah.
for our questions for our interview session today. Thank you so much
Okay.
for your cooperation with me, Miss Anna. So
No problem.
thank you so much. See you later.
And then see you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have
Bye.
a good night.
You
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye.